Hi, and welcome to another week of Simply Boss Events Level Up Tribe. I'm your host, Chris Davis, where we discuss all the important things to planning a successful event. This week, we'll be discussing the request for proposal, or RFP, and submitting meeting event specifications. So, after you have worked with your client on discussing the details of the event they are trying to execute, it's important to kind of do some preliminary research for the specific venue. Now, I have a template I like to use, and I first created this template about 15 years ago. I used it for the conferences that I planned. I have worked corporate events for a biotech, a pharmaceutical company, and a technology company. And so it was really important when I was speaking to a hotel or venue. I have a standard set of questions that I ask, and it's actually something like a resume for the event. I provide the venue all of the details of the event that I'm hosting, the amount of people, will I need food and beverage, AV, all of those good things. And so I will actually get that form and upload that to the Simply Boss website where you can use that as well. I have a shorter form that is accessible there already on the Simply Boss events website under the resource tab, but I will definitely add this resume template because that I think is very crucial to asking the venues the right amount of questions and getting the right information from them to get over to your client. When you're preparing this document, you need to have the preferred dates and optional dates if those are available. Some venues will let you know that the specific date you requested is not available, or it may be more expensive, and is that date flexible at all? If you're requiring sleeping rooms, the number and the type of guest rooms that you're requesting, and the number, size, and the amount of meeting rooms that you will need if you will be using some at all, and a range of acceptable prices for these two items. Now, a hotel or a venue, any venue, will send you an email with an initial proposal of pricing, and you have the ability to negotiate those rates. If you have 20 guests versus 100 guests, you can know the base rate for 20 guests are going to be a little more expensive than the ones for 100 because you will have a bigger number to play with, and they know that your food and beverage is going to be higher, and some of the hospitality offerings they will give you will compensate for this cost. You'll also want to provide them the types of meal functions and breaks you will be hosting for this event. It helps them determine if they need to get outside resources or if they will let you do it yourself, and any fees that may be associated with hiring outside catering. You also want to let them know of any exhibits or any special events or activities that you will be hosting in that venue, because they can let you know if there are any special licenses or insurance that you may need to get. After you have done this, you want to plan for the site inspection. I would not confirm the venue until you have physically, or your client has physically been able to go and see the location. You want to check with other planners. I Google a lot. I sometimes ask the venue for references for people who have hosted an event there, because they will actually give you some references to call and talk to them, and you can ask them, how is it working with the venue staff? How was the payment process? How was the event hosted by that venue? Were they responsive? Were they challenging? Those are very important pieces in producing a successful event. Also, make sure when you go to the venue that you check out the internet broadband capabilities if that's important to your event, and take someone with you who knows about that if it's a big part of your event. If it's not, then the regular setup they have is fine. And as I stated in a previous podcast, make sure that you communicate that with your guest. It's always important. They're always going to ask upon check-in, upon arriving to the venue, is there internet? Is there a Wi-Fi code? How can we get on? That's always something people look to have access to. And finally, think of the experience from your attendees' point of view as well as your clients. Make sure that you are asking for things you would ask for yourself and expecting the venue to provide a high level of customer service to you and your client. Otherwise, the event will be starting off on the wrong foot and will be sure to have some rough patches along the way if the initial piece of this is challenging. Well, that's all for now. Next week, we will talk about the planning of your meeting, the food and beverage, making cost-effective choices, and planning the meals to accommodate the 1,000,001 requirements attendees have now for events. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, check us out at www.simplybossevents.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Simply Boss Events. Until next time, happy planning.